You understand, like, we parents and we just want to protect our babies. That's all this is.
Do you have babies?
Ma'am.
Do you have children?
Ma'am.
How can
You don't
guys
feel
do
nothing.
this? Do you not feel anything? You guys, I'm human. This is my baby. My baby is days old. And you're taking my baby away from me. You're taking my baby away from me. You have no heart. This is so wrong.
Hello, and welcome back to Legal Dissent, where we evaluate your constitutional rights before they're taken away. Thank you so much for joining us, and if you enjoy our content, please do consider subscribing, liking this video, and interacting with us in the comments below. Our society vests a lot of trust in the medical experts, and rightfully so. They are trained and educated for years before practicing medicine. We trust them with our healthcare, our lives, and with the ability to almost unilaterally choose who is fit to be a parent or not. Doctors and other medical workers are legally required to report suspected cases of child abuse and neglect. These medical workers are trusted implicitly by law enforcement, and their word is viewed as gospel. But what happens when a doctor is overzealous or just makes mistakes? Syesha Mercado is a renowned singer and an American Idol finalist from 2008. In February, Mercado and her partner Tyrone Denier took their son Amen Ra to Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital in St. Petersburg, Florida. According to his parents, Amen Ra was struggling with his transition from breast milk to solid foods and was dehydrated, so they took him to the hospital for medical care. While at the hospital, Dr. Sally Smith evaluated the child and allegedly accused the couple of child abuse. In March, the couple was trespassed from the hospital and not allowed to visit their child. The child, once released from the hospital's care, was given to the Manatee Child Protective Services and placed into foster care. Fast forward 6 months, and on August 11th, Manatee Sheriff's deputies tracked down Mercado and Denier, pulled them over, and then the couple began live streaming the encounter on Instagram.
Yeah, she took her out. We got the car seat. No, she took her out the car seat.
We actually have a pickup order, so we're going to put the baby in my car. Case management's going to take the baby to the hospital.
We have the medical. She just was seen yesterday.
Here's the order.
Here's all of them. You guys are going to go to the office if you want to be interviewed by this young lady right here. She's going to be responsible for that.
What is she going to eat?
Case management.
Yeah, she's breastfed.
Take your child to the hospital. Here's all the correct paperwork. Okay? That's fine. She can do that in our office.
Case management's coming to transport the baby.
They coming right now?
Yes.
Yeah, they're on their way right now.
And that's can I see that, sir?
Why are they taking the baby?
Because we had gotten a report that you had given birth. You already have one child.
Who said I gave birth?
That's the report that we got. So
It was a report, like harmful report?
to CPS, that's how we
So CPS got a report that I gave birth, like I was endangering my baby by giving birth?
No. Okay, so we got the report. It said that you had given birth, and there was concern because when case management came out the night before to do a welfare check of the baby, they couldn't get in the house.
We didn't say that. We said contact our attorney. That's what we told
You
him.
don't have a contract with them.
CPS got the report, okay?
Yeah.
So that's why we're now involved.
And No, we get it. No, yesterday we get that when they came, and I said, if you want that information, contact our attorney. They never did that. They just went and got these orders. They could have got all the information they needed through our attorney.
You already have a child that's in care. So obviously we're going to want to make sure that this child is okay.
No, we get that.
So
That's why we
when
get that.
When we do our job, we have to do the welfare check. Case management couldn't do that.
No, they could have. We just told them to get the information from our attorney.
So
That makes
They
sense
didn't
to you,
ask for a
ma'am?
welfare check. They said how Syesha doing.
They wanted to see you. They wanted to see the baby.
And I asked them to please contact our attorney first, and then we
As
can.
far as I know, case
They didn't. No, they didn't.
They never.
So here's the situation. There was
didn't ask
between
us
case
to do
management and the Children's Legal Services attorneys.
Yeah.
All of that conversation and all of that interaction happened between them
Cases involving minors are not public record, and the exact facts are impossible to discover at this time. However, it appears that due to the first child being in the care of CPS, they are conducting a welfare check on the newborn. The department visited the couple the day before and asked to see the child to perform this welfare check, and the couple essentially told them to go talk to their attorney. Based on this alleged inability to perform the welfare check, CPS then went before a judge, got an order to seize the child so that they can perform the welfare check. In 2014, the Florida State Legislature signed unanimously into law a sweeping overhaul of the regulations revolving around the Child Welfare Agency in response to the deaths of 477 children whose families had been reported to the state. Like most legislation, it is typically an overreaction to a problem that has incensed the population, and the government will swing the pendulum from one edge of the spectrum to the other. These laws reportedly place the safety of children over the rights of their parents. However, per the Florida Supreme Court and Florida Department of Children and Families versus FL, parents have a fundamental liberty interest, protected by both the Florida and federal constitutions, in determining the care and upbringing of their children. This fundamental liberty interest can be taken away under certain circumstances and can be superseded by the state's compelling duty to protect children. In order to terminate parental rights, the state must show by clear and convincing evidence that reunification with the parent poses a substantial risk of significant harm to the child. We'll get to the circumstances revolving around the first child later on, but for the second child, courts would find it reasonable for CPS to want to conduct a welfare check on the baby. Although that does not mean that the parent's rights are forfeited just because CPS asked to come inside during the visit the day before the stop in the car. They do have the right to refuse them entry to their home unless they have a search warrant authorized by a judge. My issue now is that the couple is now willing to cooperate because of the warrant. This is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with exercising your rights and demanding for warrants to be retrieved before consenting to searches. In fact, that's what you should do in almost every single scenario. One last caveat before we move on. Do not remove your child from their car seat when you've been pulled over by the police. The officers will naturally assume that you've been transporting the child like that outside of the car seat, and that is obviously against the law.
You understand, like, we parents and we just want to protect our babies. That's all this is.
Do you have babies?
Ma'am.
Do you have children?
Ma'am. No, ma'am. It's okay. Can I? No, ma'am.
You can't be
Ma'am.
human.
Ma'am, I get it. Can I talk to you over here? Can I talk to you?
So it's kind of like a twofold, okay?
Yes.
So first we have the children that are under the care of Pasco
Yeah.
in your care. So they're coming out to check that. We also have your
Ra,
child
with
that was
Manatee
removed.
County, yes.
Yes. So whenever a new baby is born, and there's already a child that is already out of your care,
Yes.
it's going to be on us to make sure that
To
that
check on the
baby-
welfare, we get
Right.
it.
So
But
that's
why
what
do you have
case
to
management-
remove? Why do you have
that's
to
what-
remove her?
Because we couldn't get access to the child.
We said contact our attorney. That's all we said. If they would have contacted our attorney, he would have we have a full medical staff that's connected to this baby.
And that at this point, this is what we have. This is
No,
what we had to do in order to get.
You didn't
to this
have
You
to.
didn't have to. I'm just being.
Asked us.
You didn't have to because our attorney is there for them to communicate with. Any records, health records they needed, we have them. We just said contact our attorney. We haven't had the best experience with Manatee
But
County.
you see,
You understand us as
no,
parents?
I understand, but here's the thing. Like, you wouldn't even tell the case management that the baby was even born.
I said contact our attorney. That's all I said.
You wouldn't let
I have
case
the-
management
We
talk
didn't
to
say
her.
nothing.
She
No,
wasn't
yes,
there.
no.
But what I'm saying is that I have the right. That's why we have legal representation. If there's any questions you have, contact our attorney. They didn't even contact him. So that's showing that they're negligent to not even want to get proper information. If
Okay.
that makes sense.
So that's case management. Okay, so
Yeah.
when they
The case manager felt like they didn't get information. They contacted the CPI investigator.
I was literally like walking in the office when the sergeant called me this morning, so I barely even had time to.
This is something that all this is not even necessary. When it came to that welfare check, our attorney right there, and all the necessary documentation information you guys needed, you could have got it from him. But then it's like this persona, like by me saying contact our attorney, not saying you as an individual, but you guys as a agency, like it's too easy to remove children. You know what I'm saying? Like this gotta stop. This is not this. You understand? Like
I understand where you're coming from.
you have. Are you a parent?
I'm not getting involved whether
I understand that you're a human being before you work for the
I
sheriff's
am a
department.
human being either way. And I understand your concerns, and I understand your
and
frustration.
I'm saying, and I'm talking to you because everybody, you all are civil servants.
Right.
You're supposed to work with us. Nobody's working with us. People are dominating us and telling us what we need to do with our own children. You understand the issue with that?
No, I completely understand.
And
I understand that. and
If
I
we were
understand your
criminals, I understand. If we were breaking laws, not abide by statute, I get that. But it's something that we have to communicate, because it's like, it's our role as any parent. I'm more than likely you're a parent, and you protect your babies, and that's all we're doing. You're not going to just sit there with your own baby and just be like, yeah, just go ahead. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
And I get that, and I would feel the same way.
And you think all this is necessary?
I mean, they
Like,
didn't know
think
what
about
you-
it.
They didn't know what you were doing.
We told them what we were doing.
So at that point,
Y'all track us anyways. You know where our whereabouts. They were sitting outside our home. Like what like we're on the direction to you guys. Like what are we gonna do? I'm just saying, like, all this is like, there's crimes being committed right now, and we're not a part of that group. And it's insane to see all of this going on in regards to a baby when you all have all the information needed to know that she's safe. Because all that court order said was you all were concerned about safety.
Mr. Denier makes some great points here. If the government is truly concerned with the child's safety, then why are they not just escorting the parents to the hospital as opposed to making the baby wait in the car on the side of the road in the middle of August in Florida? That doesn't seem to be in the best interest of the child. Again, the point of CPS is to ensure the well-being of children in the least intrusive way possible.
There's no point.
They're not listening. There's no point.
So wrong, Sarah. How could
You don't
guys
feel
do
nothing?
this? Do you not feel anything?
Let's put the baby in the
You guys,
chair.
I'm human. This is
I
my baby.
understand
My
that.
baby is days old. And you're taking my baby away from me. You're taking my baby away from me. You have no heart. This is so wrong.
Just give her a second. Can you give her a second?
Don't make it seem like I'm
it's not.
crazy, okay?
Yeah, we suppose this is normal.
I
This is
know you
instinct.
have children.
Sarah,
This is my baby.
you may not have babies, but
I carried my baby for 9
This is-
months.
this is normal.
You don't care.
yes, I do put the police.
You don't care.
Which,
Would you like to put the
You
baby
could
in the
have
car
talked.
seat?
No, I don't. I want my baby.
We have to put the baby.
My baby is healthy and happy. My baby is breastfeeding from me. What are you gonna give my baby?
Please put the baby in the car seat.
can you just give her a second? We gonna cooperate, but don't be a human before anything. We know you're doing your job, but you have some empathy.
Oh my God.
Y'all done took our son. Now you taking our daughter.
Please put the baby.
You understand that, right?
Please put the baby in the
It'd be something wrong with us if we didn't respond.
Baby. Oh my God. I have to hold it together, right? I'll hold it together. I'm strong.
This is simply heartbreaking to watch, and a very natural reaction for a parent who sees their child being taken away from them. Fortunately, the parents were able to be reunited with their child shortly after, yet their fight for custody of their oldest child is still ongoing. We discussed a little bit about the circumstances revolving around what happened there at the beginning of this video, but there's more to the story. As you recall, Mercado took in her 18-month-old son to the hospital because he was not consuming liquids and was malnourished. This is not, in and of itself, abuse. After 2 weeks of being in the hospital, sheriff deputies confronted the parents, claiming they refused to allow medical personnel to give the child a B12 shot. The parents adamantly claim that this is a lie, and they merely ask for time to weigh their options because they live a, quote, holistic lifestyle, end quote. Now, I have no idea what happened here. I don't have the evidence, I don't have the medical records, and I'm surely not a medical expert. But here's the intriguing part to me. The doctor who evaluated the child was Dr. Sally Smith. Dr. Smith is the head of the county's child protection team, and she examines every child admitted to the All Children's Hospital with suspicious injuries or conditions. In 2009, a new medical specialty was officially ushered into the practice. This new specialty was labeled child abuse pediatrics. One of the 200 physicians who sat for the very first licensing exam to be considered a certified child abuse pediatrician was Dr. Sally Smith, who approaches interviewing parents in a very unusual way, but I'll let her speak for herself.
Sure, there are people who are wrongly accused, but I don't know, anybody show of hands in the room, anybody had 10 reports to the child abuse hotline regarding their family? So, once, yeah, maybe that was just a fluke, but, over and over and over again, and then they keep coming up with there's no findings, doesn't make any sense. One of the things we have to really keep in mind is that the primary problem with child abuse is that the person who has abused the child is full-on lying about what happened. And we have to remember that what we're being told is the history is a bunch of baloney, and it's our job to figure that out. We're getting history from the caretakers. And again, keep in mind that they're usually lying. So we have to ask lots of questions to trip them up. Most of the time they've thought of the main lie, but they haven't thought of all the details. So if you keep asking questions, the story falls apart.
This doctor, who is in charge of whether a parent is reported to CPS and the police, and if they get to see their child or not, believes that what most parents tell her is a bunch of baloney, and that she should ask parents questions that trip them up. You all know I'm a strong advocate for not speaking to the police without an attorney present, and now I'm beginning to lean towards not speaking to your doctor without an attorney present. But wait, it gets worse with Dr. Smith. USA Today conducted an investigation on hundreds of her cases, where she alleged abuse had occurred, and they found dozens of them being thrown out of court. In 2014, a man stated that his 6-month-old son fell out of a chair and hit his head on the concrete floor, but Smith concluded that the boy had been viciously shaken due to there being no visible swelling of the scalp to indicate a fall. The appellate court reviewed the medical record and found that multiple staff members had noted a bump or a bruise. This was even documented in Smith's own notes. The court scolded Smith for basing her conclusion primarily on her assessment of the parent's credibility and not on the available medical record. There are several more cases like this, including a heartbreaking story where Smith accused the mother of abusing her daughter, forcing a separation that pushed the mother into taking her own life. The family sued Smith, and they received a one-word answer from the appellate court, which was denied. There are a lot of questions revolving around the case of Mercado and her children, and I don't have the answers. There might be a good reason that their child was taken away from them. I simply do not know. What I do know is that the government has enabled CPS and medical professionals to be able to take children away from their families with very little evidence, and sometimes with even less due process. I understand the desire and objective of keeping children safe, which is something we should strive towards as a society. But do you think the pendulum has swung too far from respecting parents' rights to raise their children? Or do you think that we should have even more safeguards to ensure that children are cared for? Let us know in the comments below, and remember that no matter who you are, you have value and you have rights. Do not be afraid to use them, and we'll see you next time right here on Legal Dissent.